Gentlemen.
Yo.
What up, Kevin?
Dude, that's a sick pod setup.
Yeah, so chill.
Thanks. Yeah, we've been working on this for a while, and just like last week, we finally got like all the lights and everything and the camera to work in a way that we were happy with. So
Is this where you guys do close calls?
it is, yeah. And this week is going to be our first time doing a video. We've just been audio this whole time.
We've just been audio too. We're actually starting in March, getting ready to do videos.
Cool. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's like every podcast needs to be a whole TV show now.
Yeah. Well, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get this started. Introduce our guest for today. For listeners who don't know him, our guest is Kevin Casey White. He's a comic based out of New York City, out of the Midwest. First guy, one of the first comedians who ever did the West Virginia run I was setting up. And he's helped me a bunch along the way. Kevin Casey White, everybody. Co-host of the Close Calls podcast. And by the time this episode airs, this episode will be out right after your album will have just dropped.
Yeah. My first special.
Nice.
Is that going to be on YouTube audio?
Yeah, so 800 Pound Gorilla is the label.
Nice.
So everything kind of goes through their YouTube and their channels and stuff. So it'll be on Spotify, iTunes, blah, blah, blah. But I really suggest you watch it because there's some fun kind of crowd interactions and things that would help.
Where
visually.
did you record it?
The Comedy Corner Underground in Minneapolis.
Nice.
All familiar?
No.
Nice.
No.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's like the comedy club equivalent of like a little punk rock dive bar. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was it like working with 800 Pound Gorilla?
Dude, it's been great. To be honest, I almost it's been really good, but it was like hard to get on their radar at first, which is fine. They're like inundated with like they've got a lot of great people on their roster. Who am I? Right? Like whatever. But I got a couple offers from a couple different labels, and I was like really on the fence about it because the one I really wanted was 800 Pound Gorilla. To me, they're like the cool like indie label that are putting out people that I really like Kinane and Chris Gethard.
Are they like the A24 of comedy?
I think, yeah, right. Like I think so, right? So
yeah, for sure.
I got an offer from a bigger label. I got an offer from some smaller independent labels, but I was holding out, and I was just about to kind of sign the ink with somebody else, and then like right in like the 0 hour, like let's say like I told this guy to send over. This is kind of shitty, I guess, but I was like, yeah, okay, like. Let's send over some contracts. We'll do it on Monday. And then like Friday at like 8 p.m., I got an email from 800 Pound Gorilla being like, hey, we're interested. And I had to like do this awful thing. But it's not that awful. I felt awful. Everybody around me was like, you're being a baby. It's fine. It's just, but whatever. But I had to be like, oh, I'm sorry, but the hot girl just asked me to prom. So I gotta, you know.
Nice.
But it's been great. Like ever since then, like it's been super cool. I'm very green to working with the label, and they've held my hand every step of the way, and it's been awesome.
Hell yeah. Love that for you.
Thanks, man.
So wait, where are you now? You're in New York, or you're?
Yeah.
Nice. Where in New York?
I live in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Shout out.
Nice. I'm in the Bronx. I'm in the Bronx right now. So.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way you live in New York with all that stuff and room behind you. I see on your screen.
I got the room. You
live in like a
Bronx is superior.
Do you live in like a proper? Yeah. Do you live in like a proper house?
Yeah.
Whoa,
it's
dude.
very proper up in here.
I haven't been to the Bronx. The Bronx is like so far from where I am. It would take me like an hour to get up to like where you are. So, but it's like nice, huh?
Yeah. I mean, there's not much to see in the Bronx unless you want to go to like the Bronx Zoo or something like that. I don't know.
Botanical Gardens?
Yeah, Botanical Gardens. And they're right next to each other. So
Fordham Road?
Yeah, just come to Fordham Road.
If you haven't been to New York, it's something that was kind of like a culture shock to me, is that like it's so massive. that when somebody says they live in New York, it could take 2 hours to get to them from where you think you are. You're like from like what people consider to be New York, which is I guess like Times Square. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I've never stepped foot in the Bronx, and I was hoping you'd tell me there's a vibrant art scene and a whole different thing going on up there, and they have their own cuisine and culture, and they speak a different language. But
I mean, there's definitely different languages being spoken in the Bronx.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the Bronx is a cool place, but I mean, like, if you're coming to New York City or you're like picking a borough, like, I feel like people aren't really picking the Bronx, you know?
right, yeah,
Yeah, I guess like the Bronx and Staten Island. Dude.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
No one's definitely going. Definitely no one's going to Staten Island.
Staten Island's all cops.
Except for the immigrants that we're sending there. But I see all these videos of racist Staten Island people getting mad.
Yeah,
There's like immigrants being housed in like gymnasiums, and they're like, "Oh, you motherfuckers!"
sure. So
Cared about
a lot of
before that.
my understanding is that a lot of Staten Island's like a lot of cops and firefighters and stuff live, and it's like a bit more suburban and stuff like that, right?
I think it's
So
also,
of course they're
more
upset
like-
when a brown person moves in. They're freaking
more like white and conservative over there.
right.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Staten Island is definitely the borough I've been to the least. A lot of times when I visit New York, I stay with my boy Anthony in the Bronx. There's some cool places like that neighborhood with all the Italian food and the Bronx beer.
Arthur
hall.
Avenue. Yeah,
Yeah.
But so here's the thing: if you're planning a trip to the Bronx, like I just said, Bronx Zoo, Jake said Botanical Gardens, they're all next to each other, and Arthur Avenue is right there. So that's where you could get like lunch, a drink. Like, yeah, you know what? That would be worth checking out. I shouldn't be shitting on the Bronx. Come to Arthur
man,
Avenue.
you're
All right.
shitting on your own hood, Anthony. Damn.
Let's go. And if you come down to Bushwick, I'll show you what we got, which is
Hell
a
yeah.
bunch of pretentious coffee shops and polycule couples. A bunch of polycule couples doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean.
Polycule.
A bunch of freaks. This is where all the horny freaks are with nose rings. It's great. I love it there.
So Kevin's on to promote his album, but we love to pick a topic, and the topic we picked today is a movie that I haven't watched since I was like late teen, early 20s. Like I watched it a bunch when I was young, and then I haven't watched it in so long. And when you picked this, I got so excited. We're talking John Carpenter's Big Trouble Little China.
Yes.
I love that it's John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Which means he does the music too, which is a great part of this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the music, the practical effects, you can see his fingerprints all over it.
I love it. I truly love it. It's one of my favorite movies. And yeah, I never noticed that until I just rewatched it this weekend, that it starts with John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China, which is such a flex, dude. Like he's like,
Yeah.
he's a true auteur. And the thing about him is it's like all his stuff is just a little campy. And I don't know if that's a sign of the times. Because
I think it's a sign of John Carpenter.
I think it's a sign of John Carpenter. I think he really appreciates the, like, this is going to sound corny, but like the magic of film in a way where it's childish almost. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's like a budgetary thing. I think he likes that sometimes things look a little crappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, for sure. There were like some ridiculous effects, some ridiculous creatures in this.
One of the campiest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I like camp. I do like camp.
I like some camp. It's like some pulp, you know. I like some pulp.
Yeah.
Like some camp.
Now, I don't want to just go off on a tangent about how much I love this movie. I imagine, you know, you guys will direct me about what you want to hear about it, but
No, speak
I
your
just-
mind, dude.
let me just John Carpenter and Kurt Russell as a team
Duo.
is phenomenal. The
True.
Thing,
Yeah.
Escape from New York,
Thing is
Escape
good.
from LA, and
Yeah.
this film, like these four movies, like what a beauty. It's like oh man, what the fuck is his name? John Hughes and Molly Ringwald. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they were meant to work together.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much.
No, for sure.
like Leonardo
I love
and Martin Scorsese.
I was just
Yeah,
thinking that, yeah.
it for sure. I completely agree. Also, like, I love that Jack Burton is this like macho man character, but like having like I remember like looking up to him when I was younger, and having rewatched it all these years later, I was like, oh shit, he's getting his ass saved a lot,
dude. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. That's my biggest soapbox about this movie. That is my favorite thing about his choices as an actor in this movie, that I had the exact same experience. When you're young and you watch him, he's almost like John Wayne or something. He's like, I got it there, Pilgrim. I'll handle everything. And you watch it when you get a little bit older and you see he's like dropping the gun. He doesn't know how to turn the safety off.
He sucks.
He's constantly playing somebody who wants to be John Wayne, and it makes him such like an approachable hero. He's a guy who wants to impress a girl and is in over his head and will not allow himself to just take the L. Instead, he's gotta like live up to some fucking machismo in his head, and he's constantly embarrassing himself. And it's way much more of a comedy than I realized when I was a kid.
For sure.
Because of that.
Yeah, because like as a kid, I remember watching it and being like, whoa, the action. The villain was kind of scary, and he had all these monsters. What was his name? The villain's name?
What was the orangutan man? Remember that guy?
The creature? The little
The villain
like,
is
wolf?
Lopan, though.
Lopan, that's what it is. Yeah, Lopan was such a great villain.
Yeah, man.
Also, shout out to our Three Ninjas Sensei,
Victor Wong.
Yeah, dude.
We did a Three Ninjas episode, and so it was cool to see him back in the mix.
Yeah,
dude. He's truly underrated as an actor. I love that guy.
Star-studded cast, like top
man.
to bottom.
Kim Cattrall.
Yes, dude. A young Kim Cattrall.
the mannequin herself.
Looking
What
good.
a young and smokehouse Kim Cattrall too.
Yeah.
She was a smokehouse.
Yeah, and so many, I don't know their names, but so many actors that you see playing like side characters in movies throughout the entirety of the 80s. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, I don't know their names, but we've all seen their faces.
Yeah, there was one guy. There was one of the fighters. He was on the red squad, and I remember he played Genghis Khan in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh,
I don't know if you remember that guy.
Good eye.
Yeah.
damn.
Good pull, dude.
Damn.
Yeah.
You know his name?
No. Even when I
No.
looked it up, like I wouldn't remember him by name. I just remember him in that role specifically. And then when he popped up in this movie, I was like, oh shit.
Dude, I know exactly who you're talking about. He comes out and he's like front and center, and there's a familiarity to him, and I couldn't place it. I didn't realize it was Bill and Ted.
He was in a bunch of movies. Yeah, he's probably in other ones too we've seen, but let me look up his name now. I need to know who he
Genghis
is.
Khan and
This
Bill and
also
Ted.
has some like not movie wise, just like as far as like the lore that came. I mean, it came after this movie, so it almost feels like there's some like Mortal Kombat,
Okay.
like vibes in this movie.
Raiden.
Like I wonder if they based like even like the three winds they had. What was there like wind, storm, and whatever?
Mhm.
Those are
Yeah.
almost like Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and like Reptile, like their respective like like Nether Realm warriors.
Yeah, the three that ended up like Lopan's generals.
Yeah, like exactly. Like it was almost like Shang Tsung's generals.
Yeah,
Shang
dude.
Tsung is kind of like Lopan.
I will have you know, Tobias Boone,
Oh,
one of the creators of Mortal Kombat, has gone on record
Shit.
saying that this film was a big influence on Mortal
Oh,
Kombat.
Oh,
see,
that
I
makes
really
so
did
much
not know
sense.
that. I really,
Yeah.
I'm glad I was watching it this time and I was like, dude, this feels like Mortal
Raiden.
Kombat based.
Yeah.
Raiden.
It is Raiden to a T.
And
They
even
didn't change
Lopan is
anything.
Definitely Shang Tsung, and the other guys
Yeah.
are for sure like Sub-Zero, Scorpion. like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Goro,
That's
even to a
sick.
point, that weird monster dude.
Yeah.
Wait, so okay, the actor is Al Leong, right? His nickname is Kabong. So there we go. Some comics and chronic. Kabong. But he was in Die Hard. He was in Lethal Weapon. He's in a bunch of movies. So yeah, we've seen him throughout 80s and 90s. So shout out to that guy. Daredevil. Oh, he was in Ben Affleck's Daredevil and Godzilla in 1998. Nice.
Whoa, the best. Have you guys done an episode on either of those movies?
Oh yeah, we did
Daredevil?
on Daredevil.
We haven't done
dude.
the 98 Godzilla.
We're gonna do
but-
the Godzilla.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you could do like a whole month of Kabong.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that
We
would honestly
should.
be a great idea.
Give him his flowers for once.
Kabong Dynasty. Just
Yo, I'm so down.
yeah, I'd be down for that. People be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I'd be down too. That's
Oh, he was in the Scorpion King too. Yeah, this dude has a
dude.
great.
This dude's unstoppable.
Wait, Kevin, real quick, what do you think of the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie?
I haven't watched it in its entirety. I know it's famously bad. I used to work at a movie theater when I was in high school, and it was one of those dollar theaters, one of those ones where you see like right before it goes to video, you know? Which I guess I just realized probably don't exist anymore, right? But
yeah, that sounds like a rare thing.
Yeah, that really ages me, huh?
It was just. I also think that was like a much more rural thing.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
true. Yeah.
Because we used to have them in West Virginia.
As I say, the pipeline was basically big release, and then you can try to recoup a fraction of your earnings at like $3 a ticket right before it goes to video in some small select theaters. So pretty much right after it released, Daredevil was in the dollar theater that I was working at. And I remember we had that and Kangaroo Jack. And that's what I would go. That's what I would, if I didn't want to do work, you could just go to a theater and just like stand in back and hide out and just watch a movie for a while. So I've seen these movies in chunks, but not in one sitting. And I think that's fine. I can leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I loved though? I loved the Daredevil Netflix show. And it's
that was great. Yeah.
It's a shame, dude. That actor, like I didn't know anything really about. I maybe read one or two Daredevil comics in my life before seeing that show, and that actor is so phenomenal. And it's I think
Charlie
they did Charlie Cox. They did him dirty, but they did to him. And oh man, I'm blanking on his name. What's his face playing Kingpin was incredible.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
And I know they're working on a new show, but if they don't do it exactly how it was before, I will not be happy.
I don't have the three of us. I mean, I remember when we did our first run together, we watched one of the Spider-Man movies together in a theater in West Virginia. And I remember you being like, I don't know. Superhero movies are fine, but I'm kind of like, they're oversaturating it. And that was years ago. So it's only gotten worse, and we're all kind of on the same page as you now.
Yeah.
I have more Marvel fatigue than I do have superhero fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. You see this independent stuff, The Boys, and it's great. But, Marvel, they've just gone to such like a cookie cutter, terrible formula, and it sucks.
Yeah, there was a time when Marvel felt really like
fresh and hot.
Well, really like oh man, what do I want to say? Like meticulously crafted, and now it feels like it's a factory just churning out.
I think it was at one point, especially when like Jon Favreau and Joss Whedon were at the helms of their respective movies. It was like oh cool, like these are pretty good. And then,
they were basically an indie studio.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Very small. Like when Iron Man came out, it wasn't even what it is now.
Right.
That first Iron Man movie it's crazy how much the ripple effect of that has changed like what's happening right now.
They built the entire MCU off of that.
Yeah.
It's great. It's in it, and it's like
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, and like you can't like they knew they had to kill it the first time, and they took a chance on the lead. They took a chance on because they didn't do the most obvious Marvel property either. Like at that time, people forget. Only comic book nerds gave a shit about people that weren't the X-Men or Batman. And that was it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even Spider-Man was getting into territory of like, whatever, dude. Like I remember like I remember I had a roommate when like the Civil War comics and like when all that was happening. And he would talk to me and I'd be like, I have no idea what the fuck this guy's talking about. I have a word of this. I was like, whatever, loser. Right. And then now, like, dude, like the way that they found a way to make film as intricate, because I always thought like there's so many storylines, and everybody did, like there's so many storylines, there's no way that they can make all this weave together in a way. And it's like they did that and they pulled it off and it peaked. And it's like, well, now what do you do? Like, it's got to be hard to like throttle back after that, right? But I don't know, man. I think they should do like, it's time for like a hard reset if they want to stay open. They're going to keep making money. What the fuck do I know? But it would be fun to have one of those every now and then. Comic books do it. They hit the nuke button. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. They always reset.
We're always on the same page. We're all on the same page with that sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
This movie felt like a comic book movie, even though there's no Big Trouble in Little China, comic book or anything like that. But in a good way, this felt like, because the 80s didn't really have that.
And
it feels like an anime.
Like an Image, like scumbag comic almost. Like
yeah. I think it feels like a live action anime, which I love.
Yeah.
When they come down and he has to look under his hat, remember the lightning, and he's like, it sounds like he's like, charging up. Like it felt like if the background behind him was all just like blurry lines and shit. Like, there's so much.
See it for sure.
So you all watched this movie this weekend? Or
actually, like today, like right before we hopped on the recording.
Yeah, I watched it last night. I got when I got home in the evening, I was like, all right, let's enjoy. And I was really tired, so I fell asleep, but then I woke back up and I just started it over and watched it again.
So
it was fantastic.
You all had seen it before though, right?
Yeah.
Not in its entirety.
Really?
Jake hadn't.
Like little tidbits as a kid, but never in its entirety.
Bro, I was just gonna ask, like, since you had never really seen it in its entirety, like, what was your impression?
It was fun. I liked it. It was great. It was very 80s.
Yeah.
Very 80s. I liked it. But we also, here on the Comics and Chronic, we judge things on the Joe Pesci scale. I don't know if you're familiar with that scale.
But yeah, no. So 1 to 6 Joe Pesci's is what we usually give.
6 being the peak Joe Pesci. Like,
wow.
Goodfellas, Joe
But wait,
Pesci,
don't give us your Pesci yet. We're just putting you in the Pesci mindset.
Okay.
So coming into this, I'm also thinking, well, what number am I going to give it? There's a lot of variables and factors that go into rating something on the Joe Pesci scale.
Of course.
Okay, here's a question I had while we were talking about, like, would you even want to see this movie? Would any of you even want to see this movie rebooted?
Oh, wow. Good question.
Yes, I think.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think, yeah.
Man.
I would totally see it rebooted. And I would give Kurt Russell a cameo in it. So that way everyone's like, that dog.
And have Wyatt Russell play the main dude.
Yeah.
Man. I gotta push back on this a bit because it's perfect. Why mess with perfection? Here's the thing.
Is it?
If you had asked me before I saw the new Roadhouse trailer, I would have said, yeah.
Is there a new Roadhouse trailer?
Yeah, man. And
Jake Gyllenhaal.
It's one of those, it feels like one of those movies where they had a script for a different movie and then just slapped Roadhouse on top of it as the title. It doesn't feel like it has anything to do with the original. And it's really upsetting.
I feel like that's a lot of new projects, honestly.
That's how I felt about True Detective Season 4. It was honestly worse than True Detective Season 2, I'm sorry to say.
Mm-hmm. That's rough. That's damning.
It was bad, man.
I haven't watched any True Detective since Season 2 for that reason. So
Season 3 is really good. I would say 1 and 3 are the best. Okay. 2 was the worst, but now this takes the cake.
So this is the Indiana Jones thing.
Yeah.
Where 1 and 3 are the best and 2 and 4 are the worst because 1 and 3 were Spielberg and 2 and 4 were Lucas, and Lucas tries to make family films. And I have a whole thing about this. I'm realizing no one's yes-anding me right now, and I feel like
I'm honestly interested. Do you truly believe Temple of Doom is the worst?
Yeah, I love Temple of Doom.
Wait, no, I agree with you. I like 1 and 3.
Yes,
I like 1 and 3 a lot. I like 3 more than 2.
Yeah.
Whoa, so I love Temple of Doom.
The ones that are dark and gritty and deal with Nazis and stuff are the Spielberg ones, and they're just far better movies. When they did Temple of Doom, and it's like, let's have like a child sidekick, and it's all very like the writing is very like silly, and it's just not the Indiana.
It was like his Robin. It was his boy wonder.
Yeah, who you never saw again, and then. So basically, it seems like Spielberg and Lucas were like every other one will swap, right? So what came after 3? After a long time?
Crystal Skull, yeah.
Which was...
I didn't even watch it because I heard. And
it was bad.
Doo-doo.
I heard the new one was terrible too.
I didn't watch it either.
Yeah, I've also heard that.
Did you watch the new one, Kevin?
No, man. It's sad. I saw how old Harrison Ford was, and it's like, this guy can barely walk. Why are you trying to CGI him running? It's sad. Like, just put it to rest.
It's the same reason I don't like The Irishman. There's a scene in The Irishman where, I don't know if you saw it, but they de-aged Bobby
Yeah,
De Niro's face. And there's
Uh-huh.
a scene where he's like supposed to beat the shit out of someone because he's like
Yeah.
young in his 30s. And it's like, dude, Robert De Niro can barely move that fast. It did not look believable.
I
at all.
remember that scene where
Yeah.
dude. Nobody
I was like,
believes
all
this.
right.
And
no one
that
believed it.
that actor that he's beating up is doing a lot of work. So ow,
Oh, yeah.
ow.
He's like, oh shit, this guy's way stronger than me and I can't fight back. Robert De Niro's old ass.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I'm honestly though, I'm in the same boat as you, Kevin. I would not want to see this remade or rebooted in any capacity. I think it's
I
like
want to see it reboot.
I think it's like a perfect capsule of the late 70s, early 80s in cinema.
it has a cult following for sure.
Yeah. I don't prescribe to this cult, honestly. This is my second time watching it, and even the first time, like, it's a fun movie. No, fun would be the number one word I use for this
agree.
movie. Not bad, not bad. But it's just like there's some cult movies that are my jam, like 100%, and everyone else is like, "Fuck you, that's the stupidest movie. I don't want to
Like,
watch
what's an
that."
example?
Like, I feel like I
Like
love
the 2003 Daredevil.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, perfect example. Like I would say, and this is going to get everybody mad, that I like that movie more than this
No.
movie.
Oh,
I like
Anthony.
this movie more than Daredevil.
Crazy.
By a
Or
large
actually, I don't know if I
margin.
do. I think maybe
Ooh, I'm getting Jake over to the Daredevil
I
side.
think maybe I do like Daredevil more than this movie.
That's
What?
insane.
What?
Yes.
Because
Dude,
I quote Colin Farrell's Bullseye all the time. Like, I just like, more peanuts, please.
Yeah, but maybe you're just your unfamiliarity with this movie. 'Cause
No,
this
for
movie
sure,
is
that
for
could
sure.
be as
more
well. I
quotable.
agree. You're not wrong about that.
Cody, that is the thing. You saying that is why. Like, I don't think this movie is bad. I just didn't watch it as a kid. This is my second time watching it. I watched it once in college. Actually, I think I got a physical disc from Netflix to watch this because everyone told me to watch this movie. But like, it was just a little too out there. Sometimes I was just like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? Like, I was happy to watch it, but I couldn't follow the plot after a certain, if there was a plot.
Almost it loses a plot.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's got to get the girl because it's gonna break
Right,
the curse.
right. The green-eyed girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you bring up a good point about something that's very messy about this movie. Is it's more interested in giving you a fun thing to look at and go along with
Visually.
than it is.
Yeah.
So all the plot happens. And again, this is something that when I was a kid, I was like, well, I didn't, who cares about a plot? But as an adult, like I literally just saw a midnight viewing of this the other night and everybody was laughing every time the reporter comes in and goes, wait a second. So this guy's doing this because of this? And everybody, you know what I mean? Like, it's
I felt
all
the same exact
exposition.
way, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I said to my wife. I'm like, is that all she's doing in this movie, to just like give exposition? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like they added her later to be like, oh yeah, we need a plot for this movie, I guess. But it is fun. It's for me, because I did watch it when I was a kid. It takes me back to that place of being like excited about the things that are happening on screen instead of being like a critic or whatever. You know what I mean? So I was never like a big Star Wars guy, for example. But that first J.J. Abrams one that he did, he really made it feel like the first Star Wars movie in a lot of ways for me.
Mhm.
And I remember watching it in theaters being like, oh, this is why people like Star Wars. I suddenly felt like a kid in a movie. It's like that feeling.
Yeah.
Or that might not even be the best example because it might be kind of polarizing. But you know what I mean? Where it
No,
just
I totally get that. Yeah.
captures and it's a type of movie that they don't really make anymore.
Yeah.
I think they'll try to make these movies, but they fumble because they have to throw in too many like big explosions and the CGI needs to be too cool and blah, blah, blah. and what you lose is like a lot of, I could talk about the soul of filmmaking and how it's dying all day. Right. It's like this like innate internal kind of like, I think Indiana Jones nails it. I think early Star Wars nails it. Some movies just kind of give you this like, you know, kind of fucking feeling. I can't really articulate it, but this movie just hits me in that so hard. So when I say it's perfect, I mean it's like a vibe. more than it is a good movie.
I agree with you. This was like one of those movies that my dad couldn't even explain why, but like my dad, when I was young, my dad made me feel like he was like, okay, don't tell your sibling, like your siblings aren't allowed to watch this yet, because I was the oldest. And he like sat me down, and I just remember like I didn't I remember like it being nighttime. All of my siblings were asleep. I was probably like, I don't know, 11 or 12 or something, and watching this movie with my dad, and just like because I was a big Star Wars kid, and this felt like a more like this had like a level of camp. Like it wasn't like so campy it was Spaceballs, but it was like somewhere in between the two. You know what I mean? And like as a kid, I was just like, oh, I love Jack Burton. I love his haircut. I love his jawline. I want to be Jack Burton.
Yeah, dude.
You know, he gets the girl, but he says he's after the truck. He never admits to wanting to save the
Right.
girl.
But he
He's
doesn't
like,
even give her a kiss at the end.
yeah.
No. What a flex.
Yeah, what a flex.
It's like the Han Solo when
Yeah.
Leia's like, I love you. And he's like, I know.
I know. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Totally. And also, again, what I love about him as a character is I love unjustified confidence. It is the funniest. Like, I think the hallmark, like pinnacle, best example of that type of character is Kenny Powers. Eastbound and Down.
Yeah.
This guy, this overinflated ego, constantly getting him in trouble, is so funny to me. And I think like so relatable. It's like a fun way to play on, because like I grew up like I fucking, you know, like the Simpsons, and like how Homer's always like out of his depth and just kind of following impulse. I think it's a very real thing. And I watched Big Trouble in Little China, and it's like, yeah, I would probably fuck up a lot too. I would probably be like, I got it, and then immediately not know how to turn a safety off a gun is so relatable. I just love it. I love like an everyman who goes for it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like also the fact that he has this ego and machismo, and he's literally just a truck driver.
Yeah. He's also like hungover.
Whoa, Cody. We are the working man's podcast. I'm not shitting on fucking.
No, I'm not either.
Collar
But I'm just saying, I'm not sitting on blue collar. But like the way he has like his shit saddled over his shoulder, and he's like at the end when he's like, "No, I'll see you around," and then she's like, or she says, "I'll see you around," and he says, "You can never tell." And then it's just like him in his truck, and what does he call it? The Pork Chop Express.
Oh, the Pork Chop Express, yeah, baby. Old Jack Burton and the Pork Chop Express, of course.
And I love that his truck says hauling ass.
Yeah, dude. This is what I'm talking about. So many great details. So many great details. For no reason, they're going through the tunnels under the city, and like a giant ant bug pops out. And what's his name? Kabong? Or no, who throws? Somebody throws a potion at it and explodes. We never see this bug again. For some reason, there's bugs under Chinatown, which are never addressed before or after. It makes no sense. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I love that there's just like big, like you definitely couldn't use this aspect of the movie today, but just that like because it's Asian culture, there's a lot of like mysticism and magic just in this part of LA. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's a good point.
New York, whichever one it is.
This was it's in San Francisco, and this was around the same. This was around the same time as like Gremlins came out. Where do you get that Mogwai? You know what I mean? He's like, dude, mysticism and stuff like that of the Far East. This was probably like the last gasp of that.
Yeah.
Being like socially acceptable of
also
like
Little Shop of Horrors, also Asian.
Totally.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah, man. Also, who said this movie wasn't quotable? I will.
No, it's so quotable.
I didn't even go that far.
No, yeah. Jake just said that he quotes Daredevil more. And
oh,
like,
okay.
That's just due to your unfamiliarity with this movie, because this movie is insanely quotable.
Well, then it should have been more familiar then.
There are so many. When he's like, if we're not back by dawn, call the president. And he's just like trying
to look. No, for sure.
He's like trying to look cool and just
call the president.
Some of the dialogue in this movie just sounds like movie dialogue. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
So that's part of the camp of it is like I don't know if it's like, I don't know if they wrote in the script that he was this kind of impressive leading man and Kurt Russell had some like ideas, or if he was all, because he's constantly talking like an old Wild West gunslinger or something.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? And never living up to it. But I don't know. I think it's also great because like I know that guy. I think I grew up around that guy. That guy was everywhere when I was a kid, you know?
For sure. I also love, we talked about how like these were the 4 John Carpenter movies with him. This is by far the most comedic of the 4.
Totally. Yeah, I think it stands out. Like I think The Thing is the most dramatic. The Escape from New York has a soft spot in my heart because I was shot in my hometown of St. Louis. Because this is funny, as I'll tell you a little something about where I grew up. You've all seen, I assume, Escape from New York?
Yes.
So you all know, anybody listening, just catch up to speed. The idea is that Manhattan has been turned into a prison. Because back then New York was a nightmare and it was before it got cleaned up, quote unquote. Right. So they were like, okay, so Manhattan is turned into a prison. Air Force One goes down over it. Somebody needs to go in and save the president. Well, we got to get our best guy, which another little video game history thing. Big Trouble in Little China inspired Mortal Kombat, but Solid Snake, right? Metal Gear was inspired by Snake Plissken. Even the same first name, Snake Plissken from Escape from New York.
Yeah.
So he's got to like go in and save him, right? So how do you make New York look worse than New York at that time, right? Like where can you go? Well, fun fact, in St. Louis, like a decade or two before they shot this movie, there were some terrible fires in like the really poor, impoverished parts of town. And they just left all these dilapidated buildings. They didn't like come in or have any like humanitarian efforts or anything. So the only place that they could find that looked worse than New York was downtown St. Louis. So they shot it. They shot in my hometown. That movie has a real soft spot in my heart too. And then what was the last one? Escape from LA is honestly pretty garbage. I think that movie's trying to be cool and is just bad. Whereas I think this movie knows what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, this movie is very self-aware.
Agree with that. This movie does know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I went on a whole rant about
I don't know what it is, but this movie knows what it is.
No, I'm glad that's what this is about. You know what I mean? It's us dissecting our favorite movies and comic books or whatever. And this is, I love, and we also never stay on topic, so this is perfectly fine.
Also, we're forgetting Halloween when we talk about John Carpenter.
Yeah, but we're talking specifically more
with Kurt Russell.
Because
we're just talking John Carpenter. Then They Live.
Film.
I think that might be one of my favorites.
They Live in this are
oh my God. They Live is so brilliant.
Yeah.
I forgot about that movie, man.
So good.
You guys done that one yet?
So good.
No, we should.
We should.
Just for the fight scene alone, we should do that movie.
Yeah. And Roddy Piper's character in that is very much the same as how John Carpenter uses Kurt Russell in movies.
Yeah, that's true.
Not like he uses him in this movie, but like in more serious ones for sure.
Yeah.
That John Carpenter really had a knack for mixing like these very fantastical movies. And I don't know. I really can't think of anybody that feels like John Carpenter. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, can you think of any
so unique?
Like if I watch Paul Thomas Anderson, I see some Stanley Kubrick. You know what I mean? And I see, but like nobody's touching Carpenter. And I didn't realize what a huge John Carpenter fan I am till right now while I'm talking.
Dude, he's so iconic. I mean, like he had They Live, Halloween, and like the way the way he does the scores for all of his movies.
Yes, dude.
Is also such a unique staple of his movies.
Have you listened to any of his albums?
He has albums that aren't soundtrack, because I've listened to his soundtracks.
It sounds like one of his soundtracks, but he does like synth dark wave stuff. Him and his son.
That's incredible.
Yeah, him and his son make music together.
The Carpenters.
Yeah, dude, you should definitely check it out.
I definitely will.
I recommend. It's called Lost Themes. Check out Lost Themes.
Nice. I definitely will.
You know, he's also like a huge gamer, so like
Really?
So there's a video of him, like the Nintendo Switch. They made these things called Labo, really dumb, but there was like cardboard boxes that you could like integrate in weird ways with the Switch. And one of them was to make like this little cheap keyboard, like really cheap. Like maybe there's like 8 keys. And John Carpenter was playing the Halloween theme song on this thing. And he's like, damn it. Like, he's just like, this thing sucks.
That's so funny.
That's so
yeah,
sick.
I know every once in a while he'll do like theater tours where he'll do his soundtracks and his music live.
Ooh.
Dude, I would love, because it's all like, wah, you know what I mean? I would love to do like maybe drop my bean, do a little shroomy, go see John Carpenter live.
Yeah.
Kevin, do you smoke weed?
Yeah.
So you're Cali sober, right? That means you've
Cali
been,
sober, yeah.
Because
yeah.
you've been sober for what is it? A year and a half, 2 years now?
Next month it'll be 2 years.
Congratulations,
yeah,
my guy.
Thanks.
Love that.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah, man, it's great. So I started smoking more weed, but I don't have a hangover. Like the biggest thing for me was hangovers. Like it's just
It doesn't give you a hangover.
It does. You'll feel like dumb and lazy, but you don't wake up like I'm a piece of shit. I fucking suck. You know what I mean? Now I just like bad reality television. That's really the only downside. Oh yeah, and horrifying, intrusive thoughts of death. But other than that, pretty cool. I find I can't do it out and about. Like for a while, I was like trying to be like a social smoker, and it's 5 minutes later, I'm like, I have to leave right now. If I'm in public and I take so much as one hit, I jump right to 11 and I am too high and I have to go. And why is nobody laughing at my jokes? Is it because you hate me? But like I said, I just saw Big Trouble in Little China at a midnight viewing at this theater called Nighthawk, which is like, it's a local, there's like 2 of them. It's like Alamo, you know, they bring you food and stuff.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's like Alamo, except the food is better. 100%.
Nice.
I saw Megan there, I think. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Did they do any special foods or anything for the meal that you?
I only remember that I ordered a burger and it took like the whole movie for it to get there. And I was like,
oh, that sucks. That stinks. Because what they do sometimes, and they didn't do it for this movie, so let me know what I'm talking about. But sometimes they'll like pair up like food with, like I saw Pulp Fiction one time, and when he's talking about a Royale with cheese, they like bring a burger out and stuff like that. Like,
nice.
You know, yeah, they do cool shit like that. But anyway, so I love my little pretentious, overpriced movie theaters. I'm over AMC's unless it's like a fun, like horror movie or something where you want people screaming around you. But yeah, dude. So I went and I brought my girlfriend Jenny, and she had never seen it for the first time. And I remember like we were watching, and she turned to me and she goes, "Is this supposed to look that bad, or is this just because it's like old?" And I honestly like I thought it looked pretty good. I think that's a little unfair. So what if the monster's mouth can't open and close? It's just a mask.
Yeah. I love the floating head guy. That was creepy.
Yeah. I kind of want your guys' opinion on like, how do you think it's aged?
I think it's aged amazing.
Well, it came out in 86, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that.
So when did because I feel like there's other movies that came, like now I'm confused. When did Aliens or Predator?
Okay, so I can think of actually a great parallel. I think I know where you're going with this. Yeah. When I watch the last Star Wars, like the third Star Wars movie, I'm like, this looks like it was shot in 4K. It's crazy how good it looks.
Yeah.
When did that come out? Now, if you watch it streaming, it is like its most updated. Like they've made it look better.
Oh, they've like upscaled it and stuff?
Yeah, I think if you were to watch like the film quality that came out, the VHS, it would still look grainy and shitty.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just know if you go on Disney Plus and you click on like any of those, Empire Strikes Back, Return, they're going to look like its most updated.
Yeah, it's like the remastered version.
Yeah, the remastered, yeah.
You know.
Here's some movies that came out in 1986. Top Gun.
Ooh.
Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home.
I didn't see it.
Aliens.
Oh.
which
Yeah.
looks better than this. I'll give them
For
that.
yeah.
Well, I mean, but I don't think this, like, the goal, I think it looked cool, but I don't think it was supposed to, like, this movie wasn't trying to break ground with
No.
special
Sure.
effects.
I also think it shows the range of John Carpenter because like The Thing is like so much more like tense and horrifying and not funny.
Sure.
I mean,
like,
same
that's true.
with Halloween.
I know.
You what
Yeah.
I
So
mean?
the fact that he can do all these different kinds of feeling movies is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
you know what came
still-
out? You know what came out in 1986? Labyrinth.
Ooh.
And this
Mm.
is like comparable almost in special effects, I would say.
But wait, time out. To go back a second to Aliens. Aliens' budget was $18 million. I just
Okay.
looked this up. Big
right.
Trouble in Little China's budget was $25 million.
Oh
No way.
Yeah, that's according to Google.
crazy.
Hey.
It was a box office bomb, by the way, also.
Crazy. I mean, it makes
It
sense
didn't
that
look bad though. I wouldn't say it looked bad. And I don't care if a movie's a bomb. That doesn't affect whether
Yeah,
I
I
like it
agree.
or not.
I mean, I think like during the early 2000s, there were tons of movies that like bombed in theaters and went on to gain massive cult followings that are
For sure.
loved and revered.
For
You know what I
sure.
mean?
Dude, apparently, this is going to sound crazy because we did an episode on it, but apparently, Hook, Spielberg's Hook, when it came out, was considered bombed. It has a
Yes.
very low rating. Like, it just
Yeah.
got critically panned. But, dude, I'll be damned if from the moment I saw it as a kid to now,
Yes.
I
it's
love
like
that
one of my
movie.
favorite movies.
Dude,
Hell
100%. I've
Yeah.
heard that before as well. And I find that so shocking because me and
too.
everybody around my age thought it was perfection.
Yeah,
Exactly.
a
I would-
masterpiece.
It is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I watch it now and I have no notes. I think it's
Yeah.
great. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
the story. I love the performances. I love the
Seriously,
direction.
yeah.
It looks
I don't-
cool.
And you know what it is though? Okay, so do you think that's an issue of older the people that are reviewing it not being for them and them not liking essentially a gritty reboot of Peter Pan and just being confused? Because
I think so because my
For sure.
friend who I was like talking about it one time, and I was like, "Dude, man, remember Hook? That shit was so cool." And he's like 46. And he was like, "No, it's not." He's like, "That shit sucks." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah, you were
And then
about
I
to-
realized it was for sure like a generation thing.
that's
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
so I'm looking this up right now. So Hook came out in 1991. What came out the year before that was Tim Burton's Batman, which had like another
Ooh.
issue of people being confused as it being grittier than they expected because it's a comic book movie and people were taking their kids to see it and were getting upset that it's like, this isn't for children, blah, blah, blah. The year after Hook came out, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was also
yeah.
a shockingly adult adaptation of this insane cartoon, right?
so much so that parents like the reason Secret of the Ooze is significantly campier than the first one is like
Yes.
there was backlash. Same thing what you just said of parents taking their kids to see this, and they're like, "Yo, why is April O'Neil getting slapped in the face on the subway by a ninja?" So they like literally told them like, "Yo, this shit's really dark," and it was really dark because I also like fuck it. It's 1980s New York with the ninjas. Like, of course it's gonna be dark. You're lucky those turtles don't have AIDS or anything.
So yeah, so maybe that's like, yeah, I guess it's a generational thing. But also it's like, seems like this was a time when people were kind of like how we've had in more recent years, a gritty reboot, like push. I feel like this is like patient zero for that as a movie. Like I can't think anything that predates Batman that was like a gritty reboot of like a thing, right? Like I think
No, yeah, like a reboot of especially like a property that for generations had mostly been marketed to kids.
yeah,
yeah,
it's like where this started.
yeah, that makes sense.
Hey,
That
you
makes
guys want
sense.
one more fun fact about a budget and box office?
What?
Daredevil 2003's budget was $78 million. But at the box office, it made $179.2 million. So
That's crazy.
Ooh.
That's crazy that
Success.
people were
That's some
clamped.
good business right there.
Well, Ben, it did have the benefit of having
It's got
Ben Affleck, Jennifer
in her
Garner,
prime.
Colin Farrell.
half the people
Exactly.
listening are like, what's
Michael
the fucking
Clark
comparison
Duncan?
between the two movies?
You're getting Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, yeah, fresh off the Green Mile.
Exactly.
Star studded.
And Armageddon.
Oh yeah, dude, Armageddon. I forgot about that. Yeah, that movie was
We did an
culturally
Armageddon
massive.
episode, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did.
And a Daredevil episode, if we
And a
haven't
Daredevil.
mentioned that.
Yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China.
I think it aged well. I think it's like I think it deserves the cult following that it has.
For sure.
I
agree.
remember, like, it's just so fun. Like, fuck the plot, fuck the like. There's so much silliness and fun. Like, I love that the reflex scene was such
Yeah.
a good Schrodinger's gun. You know what I
Dude.
mean?
Schrodinger's gun. What?
I'm mixing up things. What is it?
That's Schrodinger's.
Chekhov's gun, and
Chekhov's
Schrodinger's
gun.
cat.
Chekhov's gun.
Schrodinger's cat. That is also it's how you pronounced it. You did the same thing with Mama Ronek.
Yeah.
You almost said, it's a Schrodinger.
Schrodinger's cat.
In case you don't know, I have no idea how to pronounce anything, and I'm always mixing up saying.
I love Schrodinger's gun, though.
is the best, I think.
You don't know if you shot it until you look.
But yeah,
But yeah, I thought that too, Cody. That was a great callback that I didn't catch. I've never caught that before. It's I mentioned I saw this midnight movie with the gal, and she had never seen it before, and I could tell the whole time that this was probably one of those like, all right, doing a favor to the boyfriend. I'll watch his gun. She wasn't like on the edge of her seat with childlike wonder like I was, because for me it was a lot of nostalgia. But
yeah.
when he has that moment where he like at the end of the movie where he throws the knife and then catches it and then throws it back and
Yeah.
it sticks in his
Yeah.
forehead and he falls, she turned to me and goes, because of the reflexes. And I was like, yes, that's my girl. All in the reflexes, which I didn't even get that. She caught, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's great. So I'm curious how this Pesci thing works.
Yes.
Like, is there anything I need to keep in mind?
Yeah.
Just, I mean, 6 Pescis is what you would give to like a perfect project. You know, 1 Pesci is horrifically bad. You know,
Okay.
and it's just a 1 to 6 scale. You can do it
It's
on
also
a
based on your opinion too.
Yeah.
Where does the Pesci thing come from?
We were just talking. Oh God, what episode was it? Was it Watchmen?
It was our Watchmen
it was
episode,
our
and it just
Watchmen
kind of
episode.
evolved out of necessity, really.
Out of the ether, really.
Yeah, yeah. We needed something.
It's like
to,
asking, where did God come from? I don't fucking
Exactly.
But yeah, so we love Joe Pesci, and we
Who doesn't?
think it's the perfect scale. You know,
Right.
it's not like what would Pesci give the thing. It's what would you know what I mean? And it doesn't.
Yeah.
You can say it's. We just rank it on Pesci's. You know,
And why
We
is
could
it
do, like,
6 and not 5?
because if all 3 of us do 6, that means 666, and we summon the
666 and
devil.
we summon the devil.
Yes.
Who then, of course, comes on the show.
Smart.
Possesses my
Cool.
body.
Yeah, possesses
a little
Anthony's
banter.
body all the time. Anthony has the weakest body, so we,
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're just trying to get your dream guest on, but you
Exactly.
haven't-
Yeah.
he's on a good amount.
Can you tell me a movie that's gotten 666?
Daredevil,
our
2000.
first movie,
no.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat, the new Mortal Kombat, and the old Mortal Kombat.
Dude, the new Mortal Kombat is so good.
So
it is.
good.
I had such low expectations for it, and by the end of it, I was like foaming at the mouth for a sequel.
Exactly.
And now all I can think is they're gonna fumble it. Now it's gotten, you know what I mean? Like studios are gonna come in and make it stupid. Man, I could not recommend that movie more to somebody.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
So good.
fantastic.
That sounds like a 4th, 6th for that movie.
That's a dude. Well, the bar, right? We all went into it thinking, well, this is probably gonna be garbage, right? Like,
Yeah. And it was just a great Mortal Kombat movie.
it was made with so much love and care. It gave a depth to Mortal Kombat that Mortal Kombat as a franchise does not have. it improved on every aspect.
Yeah, the only thing, which has since become a common thread, but the only thing I hated it was the lead character's family. I just don't need that in a Mortal Kombat movie.
Mm.
But other than that, it wasn't enough.
You didn't like them because why?
They were alive. and they loved each other.
I just
Okay.
I don't know. I just it just felt kind of like out of place
Sure.
for a Mortal Kombat movie. Like, why is one of the combatants for Earth? Like, why does he have a family? I mean, not that people
His
can't
power
have
was also the lamest.
Oh yeah, who
Yeah.
was that? Cole? Like just some
Cole.
guy they made up?
Yeah,
Cole?
like his like stupid armor. I was like, ugh.
Dude, you're
That
making
wasn't-
me second guess how good this movie is.
No, but that being
No,
said,
we
none
gave
of our
it a
complaints
perfect 6.
are
Yeah.
enough to take away how
That's the
Dude, I
nuance.
forgot about his power.
Yeah.
His power was
The
really good.
Oh
armor
no!
like
I might need to shave a Pesci off.
Oh, hey, we've done it before.
Yeah.
Sometimes Pesci's need to be taken off or added on.
By the way, you could also do like 4.5 or even like 4.8,
those are
something like that.
tangerine size Pesci's.
Yeah, each point is like a tangerine sized Joe
Okay.
Pesci.
Any other movies that got triple sixes?
Oh, there's been
Oh.
tons.
Yeah,
I
they
Give me
will.
another. I just want to know. I want to know what a 6 and what a
Dark
1.
Knight. We gave Dark Knight.
Oh yeah, Dark Knight.
Okay.
6.
Okay, so that's like
Obviously.
really like excellence in filmmaking. Okay, gotcha. And what's a 1? What's a movie that got a 1?
Wonder
what did
Woman,
we give,
1984.
Wonder Woman 84.
That
we gave
probably
Okay.
got lower than a 1 if
Honestly, a lot of the movies that Marvel has been putting out that I don't know if you've seen them, like Quantumania and stuff like
No,
that.
dude. After oh my god, what the fuck is it called? After the whole Thanos thing wrapped up,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna. I feel like this is a good time to get off the ride because I
Yeah.
could see everything ramping up with all these, spin-offs and shit. I watched Wanda, didn't really like it. I was like, yeah, the writing's on the wall. I feel like you should stop. It's like it's
WandaVision. You didn't like WandaVision?
Nah, I didn't. I liked parts of it. I liked what they were going for, but I felt like they could have done a lot better.
I do feel like I feel like the strongest part of the show was when they were doing the whole sitcom thing in each
Yeah.
episode.
Same.
That was cool.
It
Yeah,
started
like-
off stronger than it finished, I think.
I
Fair.
completely agree.
Yeah, this whole thing where throughout the course of the season, it was like, oh, we got to go in and save Wanda. And it's like, who are you? Like, they were like, I don't know. They didn't really give me a good reason as to why they wanted to break her out. Cause I was kind of like, yeah, she
He
is
was holding
dangerous.
the whole town hostage.
Yeah.
No, but there was some other part of it where they were just very, I don't remember what it was. It wasn't like, yes, free the people of the town, but there was something, I'd have to rewatch it and I'm not going to. Mark, but I remember watching it thinking like, I'm not really, these people are, it's like within the course of one episode, they went from knowing nothing to being too invested. You know what I mean? Like it just felt like, all right, we need to hit these marks because we only have 4 episodes left. So we're going to start making people do things that are outside their motivations. You know, I don't know. It just felt forced and
No,
clumsy.
I mean, I completely agree with you. I think that's been like the
And
general
it had Ralph
tone.
Boner.
Oh yeah, Boner.
Yeah.
The greatest joke of all time.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
so stupid. I just feel like Marvel overall post Thanos has felt forced and clumsy. And the best things that they do, the things that I think like keep people coming back, they do a lot of fan service, which I am not a big fan of myself. But they do a lot of just like, we're going to insert this cameo or this segment from this storyline.
yeah.
You know what I mean? To appease the fans. And I kind of hate it. But
Yeah, it's
you know.
interesting how the multiverse idea. I think it's funny how it solved some problems and created a whole mess of new problems that they can't. Like they opened Pandora's box in a way where it's
for
like
sure.
everything kind of went off the rails with the multiverse stuff. Where it's like, well, everything needs its own TV show now, and everything needs its own justification, and everything. And you've sat. You know what it is. We all know Skechers shoes, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've heard from somebody, a friend of mine who like majored in like marketing, told me that they talk about Skechers in like class as a prime example of oversaturating your own market, where there was a time when Skechers was like the new cool shoe and they almost immediately sold out to every Journeys and DSW and whatever. They were suddenly everywhere on a point where now it's not cool. Now it's too accessible. Now nobody gives a shit about your product anymore, and they tanked. You know what I mean? So like they're still around, but now it's like, who the fuck? No offense if you're wearing Skechers, but I don't know anybody who wears Skechers. Like it's not, they had like a couple years where they were in the
Speak for
pocket.
yourself, dude.
Yeah, but
Kevin Feige wears Skechers, okay?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like it feels like that where they just like too much, man. Like
No, I think we all completely agree.
Yeah.
They just did
Marvel's
too
has
much.
become Skechers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marvel's.
Yeah, Marvel has become Skechers. Yes.
Yes.
There's some guy sitting in a room like mine with all MCU like like memorabilia and shit, wearing Skechers, and he's just crying right now.
He's
definitely is.
So if it's okay, I'll take off on the Pesci ranking.
Dude, go off, King.
Dude, it's a nostalgic thing. I loved it. I had friends who like in high school and college, they just like wanted to put it on and smoke weed, do it all the time. Just like had a big influence on my life. I love the camp. I love the things I noticed about it this time that I didn't realize when I was younger. You know what I mean?
Oh, did you notice Kim Cattrall's character, she's also a lawyer, and her name is Gracie Law? Like, what the fuck?
I say that adds at least half a Pesci.
Probably.
Whatever.
I know Anthony and Jake won't, but I'm giving it a 6. This movie, like,
Whoa!
ruined my life.
Ooh.
Snap, crack.
The special effects might not be as 80, but this was also like at this time, John Carpenter was established. So for him to do a weird, mystical Asian, you know what I mean? Like sci-fi fantasy adventure action story where the hero is this like lovable buffoon, when Kurt Russell previously had probably all just been like, unstoppable. You know what I mean? I love this movie. I think it's great. I think it aged great. I think I like it almost more as an adult than I did as a kid.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah, Cody got my back.
Anthony?
Ooh, it's not getting a 6 from me. I'm sorry.
I knew it. I knew that before you even rewatched it. I knew you weren't going to give it a 6.
It's
just the way you had talked about it.
Yeah, because it's just, I don't know. It's not that movie for me. I have zero nostalgia for it. So like it, I can't connect with it that way. I think like when we say has the movie aged well, I think it's so like unique and so different that like it just will fit anywhere because it's so weird. Like of course it's like an 80s movie, but like I definitely give it points for being like original and quirky and campy. But man, it's not, man, I feel like I'm going to get people mad if I give it too low.
Do it.
Okay, so the last movie we rated was Hulk, which was 3. I gave it a 3.5 and I didn't even really like Hulk that much.
Yeah.
You gave Hulk a 3.5?
Hulk is great. I don't know what you guys are
Hulk,
talking about.
Cody didn't give it that much a higher score.
I think I gave it like a 4.
Yeah.
The one with Edward Norton?
No,
The one with
Eric Bana.
Oh.
From like the early 2000s.
Early
Yeah.
2000s.
Yeah. Like also maybe 03.
Yeah, 03.
Yeah.
But this movie I'll give, I'm saying 3.8.
That's low.
You're worried about upsetting me, and I appreciate that.
Jake, what about you? How do you feel?
I was going to give it a 4.
Nice.
Okay.
I think that's respectable.
I think 4 is good. Yeah.
This isn't a perfect movie. I think it's like a fantastic.
It also it doesn't have that nostalgia for me. Whereas like a movie like Ninja Turtles, like we mentioned, that I can quote the fuck out of the first Ninja Turtles movie.
Yeah. Okay, and Kevin, let's hear the guest of honor.
Before I give my rating, let me just say, when some wild-eyed 8-foot-tall maniac grabs your neck, taps the back of your favorite head up against the barroom wall, and he looks you crooked in the eye and asks if you paid your dues, you just stare that big sucker right back in the eye, and you remember what old Jack Burton always says at a time like that. If you paid your dues, Jack, yes, sir. The check's in the mail. 6. I give it a 6 out of 6.
Oh, that was a great. Yeah. Thank you for that, Kevin. That was stellar. Hell yeah. I'm with you, man. I love this movie. Big part of my life. All my friends always quote this movie. I'm not good at like quoting anything, if you can tell by the fact that I said
Schrodinger's gun.
Schrodinger's gun.
It's so good.
I love that idea though of Schrodinger's gun. I like that. It's like a Grant Morrison thing.
But yeah, I think it's
watch this movie if you haven't seen it for sure.
Yeah. It's iconic for a reason.
That's why I was like I think I can give it. It's I mean, you know, some of the other sixes are just, you know, of course, like Dark Knight is like a good film whether you like Batman or not. And I think this movie, I'm feeding into nostalgia, I'm feeding into irony a bit, but I also can't come on a podcast and say I love this movie and not give it a 6. Who do you think I am? That would be crazy. You'd be like, I hate this movie. You'll have to watch it.
Dude, I honestly, that would be a cool. If you ever come back to the podcast, you should pick a movie. Like next time you have an album, or if you have a tour or something like that, you should come back and pick a movie you detest.
I can tell you a movie I detest right now that I know you all love.
Oh, what?
And it would really spark a debate.
Let's hear
it.
Mad Max Fury Road.
I do love Mad Max.
I love that movie.
You don't like Mad Max Fury Road?
That's a 1 for me.
Whoa.
I know.
Spicy take.
I'm gonna kick you off the Zoom.
That's a crazy.
We're gonna honestly just, even if you don't have something to, when we do Fury Road, you have to come back on.
All right, I'll
We've
argue
been
my
talking
point
about doing Fury Road.
For a while. Yeah,
I will argue my point with you.
I'm excited.
But you know, if anybody listening to this felt like, you know, whether or not I like Fury Road has sways you in a direction to watch my special, you know, I love it, and I'm just messing with the guys. You know what I'm saying? We're just, I gotta get those clicks, baby.
Yeah, no, for sure. We call our fans of the pod commies, but commies definitely go out February 29th, right? Leap year?
No, it got pushed back a little bit. It's gonna be March 3rd. You know, you can find it if you go to my like Instagram or whatever socials, TikTok, etc., Facebook. It's Kevin Casey White, and there will be links there. Or you can just go to 800 Pound Gorillas YouTube, and you can find it there. So,
nice. Also check out his very funny podcast about near-death experiences, the Close Call podcast.
Yeah, dude.
Get Cody on that show for sure.
We did one once when I was very drunk for it though.
Yeah, so my co-host Lizzie Cassidy and I did a run through West Virginia with Cody one time, and we had like a late night
pod
it was like it was like a bunch of people hanging out. We were laughing a ton, but we listened to the audio later, and it's like, as you can imagine, it's sloppy. So maybe we'll release it on our Patreon one day, but you'd have to like really want to sit through it's just you can smell weed through the headphones if you listen to it. It is nothing makes sense. You're crashing a party essentially, but it was still a great time.
Yeah, my roommate was talking about getting attacked by boars and stuff like that. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, she would pass out, I think, and then come to and be like, y'all ever been bit by a raccoon?
Yeah, it was crazy. Unhinged.
Yeah, man, so much fun. I can't wait to come back through West Virginia, dude.
Yeah, we'll definitely make that happen soon. We'll talk after this because dude, love you so much, Kevin. Thanks for all you've done for me. I'm glad you finally came on the pod, and yeah, you're definitely coming back to West Virginia soon. And everyone check out his what did you name your special?
Cody, thank you for doing your research. It's called Harangue.
Nice.
Harangue, yeah.
Nice.
Because it's something that happens with a audience member. I won't spill the beans, but there's like a
heckling going on.
No, I can tell you a bit what happens. So I noticed. So I did a weekend at this club, right? And I was lucky, like packed out crowds, right? Yeah. The night that we wound up using the footage from, there was one empty chair in the crowd, and I just at some point had to be like, what the fuck is this one empty chair in like the second row doing? Turns out, this woman in the audience got stood up, and so I FaceTime the guy. And I confronted him like in the special, and I harangue him. So
that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's where I'll leave it.
And dude, yeah, one thing I could say after I've performed with you a bunch over the past few years, and Kevin is a pro with crowd work. It's his bread and butter, I feel like, almost.
Oh, thanks, bud. Yeah. So it's funny. I grapple with this because crowd work's popular online a lot right now, but also a lot of comics kind of hate it because it's a type of comedy that you need to work at to like get good at. Like I wanted to be conversational. That's the type of comic I like to watch, and it's funny because I'm not like a Matt Rifey. Like, hey, why you wearing that shirt, idiot? Oh, you know what I mean? Like, but I like to play around with the audience. So like,
I feel like you telling me when that was like you coming up and performing in like any random bar you could get your stage time at in St. Louis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, when I cut my teeth, it was a lot of really bad bar shows where like the game is still on the TV and stuff. And so if you've got 10 minutes, you're going to spend your first 3 just getting them to shut up and pay attention. And so from that, I have like, I like to have, I always say I like to talk to the audience, not like at them. Like I don't want to, if you're going to see a comic read a fucking book report at you, you can just watch clips online. Like I really like the chaos that a live show can bring. And I think that's what we captured really well with the special. There's a lot of chaotic moments and crazy mishaps and stuff. So
congratulations, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so excited for it to be out finally.
Shit.
I'm excited too. I'm excited to check it. And commies, make sure you do the same.
We're gonna watch it. We're gonna rate it out of the Joe Pesci scale.
We're gonna give
Please.
you a Pesci.
Yeah.
Give me a Pesci.
We're gonna give you a Pesci.
I'll take it. I can handle it.
Nice. Hell yeah,
dude. Well, thanks so much for
thanks
coming on.
Yeah,
man.
seriously.
That was a lot of fun.
And I'll be hitting you up when I'm coming to New York next.
Hell yeah, dude. Awesome, dude. I'm excited to kick it. Bring your boy from the Bronx.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Seriously, guys, thanks so much for having me.
Thanks
You
for
were a
coming on,
blast.
Kevin.
You were a great
Coming on,
guest.
man.
Yeah, thank
Cool.
you.
All right, dude.
Take it easy.
Hi, you're listening to Comics and Chronic, and I'm Jake FH.
I'm Cody Cannon.
And I'm Anthony Iannaccio.
And you can tune in every Thursday to hear new episodes of Comics and Chronic.
And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Comics N Chronic. That's comics, the letter N, Chronic.
We'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Peace.